All right, the SEC is going to get 4 teams still into the college football playoff.
I'm going to say yes, Pat, because I mean they're going to be 2 lost teams or whatever. But you look at the strength of schedule from playing each other. That's going to be the difference between them and like the Big Ten and other conferences. I mean, this league is so good and so competitive that a 3-loss team maybe could get in.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point.
Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios, the Dooley Dome Gator Studios. We are here. We're doing it on a Wednesday. There's a couple of reasons. One is Thursday. Nobody wants to work. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving. And we didn't want to really bug people the day before Thanksgiving. We actually had somebody lined up, and then he remembered it was Thanksgiving. So we will have Robbie Andreu on to do Yes, No, Where. Maybe he's up in the mountains, and we're dragging him in to do that. But we'll just go through and talk about everything, because we didn't want to not do a show right before Thanksgiving, with it being Florida State Week. And we got all of our great things we'll continue to do, including Yes, No, Where, maybe, and everything else. And I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. It's an important day in our lives when we stop and give thanks. I gave a little talk at the quarterback club last night and said that I gave thanks that Lane Kiffin's not Florida's coach. That got the laughs. That was a good one. But anyway, give thanks for everything. There is so much that we're blessed to have in this life, including my family, my beautiful daughter in there, and my other beautiful daughter out in LA, and my beautiful wife. And I could not be more grateful for everything that I have. And I hope you guys all feel the same way about your situations. And like the people that it's tough, we're here praying for you, trying to help you out, do what we can. But this is a good day tomorrow, Thanksgiving. A lot of you are listening to the game tomorrow, Thanksgiving. But we'll get it up fast today. Hopefully you'll be able to get on it. Monday, Coach Spurrier will be back with us. And then Thursday, Barrett Salee from Smothered and Covered. We'll have a lot to talk to him about, because it'll be down to the last reveal. It'll be down to the playoff games. We may know, I guess we would know. Well, we may know who the playoff teams are, maybe within one, by the time this weekend's over. It's going to be an interesting weekend. There's no doubt about it. All right, let us get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5. Thanks so much to the Gainesville Quarterback Club for being sponsors for these 3 months, where they are obviously, that's when they're doing all their meetings. Carlos Alvarez was unbelievable Tuesday night. He was so interesting and told some funny stories. The best story he told, I'm going to repeat this one. I love this story. Was when he made the Playboy All-American team, and they do the photo shoots and everything, and they take him to his hotel, and they have a key card, and he opens the door, and there's a woman in there just in her underwear, beautiful blonde woman. And so they got the manager up there, and he says, Carlos was saying, where do I sign with Georgia Tech? But it turned out it was the wrong room. And she said, did you get a good lick? And he did. He was telling good stories. It was a lot of fun. Now, they only have one more meeting left. It's in 2 weeks, and that is a high school awards show. And I always look forward to that. Steak dinner, get to see some of my good buddies who are coaches, obviously around here, and look forward to that. We're going to have a new sponsor. Royal Blue will take over the starting 5 starting next week. And we appreciate Royal Blue. Randy Royal over there is a good friend of mine and sells boats, man. If you need a boat, he is the guy to see over there in Palatka, and he's got the whole St. Johns River under his command. And really good dude, man. I've known Randy for a long time. He's a really good guy. He's not going to do you wrong, so go see him over there in Palatka. All right, let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, or Cubs starting 5. And that is number 1, which is the game Saturday night, 7 o'clock, ESPN. Florida is now 15-point favorite. I'm not stunned by that. It does seem to be a little high for a rivalry game at another school's place. If you give them 3 points for home field, then it's an 18-point spread. But look, if you look at the numbers, you understand it. If you look at the ACC stats, Florida State is last, and there are 17 teams, and not many of them are very good. And Florida State is last in almost every category: offense, defense, passing, rushing. They just can't get it going, especially on offense. Is their biggest problem. The quarterback, Rodenkirk or whatever his name is. Who was a pitcher in? Well, remember that movie where he got his arm got. He had a tightrope in there and he was throwing really hard. Rookie of the Year, I think it was called. Actually, not a bad movie. But his name was Rodenkirk. I don't know what this guy. Anyway, this guy. Hey, look, miracles happen, and they know that they can win the game. They know that Florida's not going to come in there and try to blow them out because Florida doesn't play that way. Florida's going to try to win the game the way they've tried to win the last two games, 27-16. 24-17. That's the way they want to win. They're fine with that. And I'll take that. I'll take 3-2 because you need to win the game. It's very important. I also wanted to talk about Florida's situation with injuries. And we've talked about this a lot. All these injuries they've gotten. Of course, the depth chart comes out tonight. Hopefully nobody new is on it, but there probably will be. But the problem is that Florida, I mean, not the problem, but the best thing about this Florida team is how they've overcome them. I think I counted 7 starters. Now, when I say starters, I count Graham Mertz as one of those starters. And DJ Lagway's a starter now, and you're happy he's back. He's playing. But I counted 7 starters that were out for the last game, and I don't think any of them are back for this game. So these guys are overcoming a lot as well. And I know FSU's had to deal with a lot. FSU's a perfect example it's a perfect example that the portal isn't perfect because it's not just going and getting guys. Anybody can go and offer kids at Nebraska and Texas Tech and Auburn and offer them good NIL deals, but are they going to fit with your team? Do they fit what you want to do? Are they you got a quarterback who nobody liked wherever he was, and nobody likes it FSU too, and he got hurt. It is pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. But hey, they're 2-9. Florida is bowl eligible. They don't have that pressure on them. But man, I hope they go out there and play it like a rivalry game. I hope they do. It is a rivalry game. It's still very important. And look, you don't want to sap away the momentum that you build up. You don't want to kill the buzz. The buzz is very good right now. You don't want to kill it. Don't harsh my buzz. All right, and the other thing is I wanted to mention too, winning equals recruiting. We talk about NIL, we talk about portal, and all those are part of it. But when you win, look what's happened the last 2 weeks. Florida wins 2 unbelievable games in the swamp. Places going nuts. People stand on their heads. People with hair on fire. Flip. It's like Major Wright doing Mr. Two Bits, flipping everywhere. Trinity Thomas, flip them. And they're flipping all to Florida, including the latest one, Bryson Love, who, be helpful if I didn't drop my notebook there. Because that name is wrong. Bryson Lewis, I should say. That's sometimes you have to get that notebook right up in your face so you can read it. So just flipped running back, really good. And Anyway, they flipped a bunch of guys, and I'm not even going to go into too many of their names and everything because mainly guys, you don't know if they're going to flip again. You don't know if they're going to transfer out. I just get a good class, get a good portal class, see what you can do with them. I don't get too caught up in the recruiting. I follow it. I pay attention to it. I want to know about it. It is what it is. All right, let's get to number 2 on our starting 5, brought to you by the Gainesville Quarterback Club. And here's what I told them last night. It is time to end another streak. Now, it ain't much of a streak, but this has been streak busters this year. How many games in a row did Kentucky won against Florida? 3. And I think it was 4 of 6, but 3. How many games did LSU won? 5 in a row against Florida. How many games did FSU won? 2 in a row. End those streaks. Got to end all the streaks, okay? So that's all I'm asking. is that you go over there and take care of business, and that little win streak that they've got, it's never easy to live with. Believe me. I think you guys all know how I feel about Florida State. I like a lot of people over there. I really do. I like a lot of people over there, but I don't like the Knowles, the semis. Okay, I just don't. I root against them. I buy T-shirts. I couldn't buy them this year. I couldn't afford it. I can't buy 9 T-shirts. Come on, man. And I'm not buying a Miami T-shirt. You know that. So I did. I think I got a Georgia Tech one because Georgia Tech beat both of them. I think that's on the way. So you got to stop the streak, and also, I mean, look, I can give you more stats on them. They're not, the one thing they do have, they have both their punter and kicker are up for the Groza and the Ray Guy, and they're the finalists. So special teams, they might lose. Florida might, although Florida's are pretty good too. But the stats are meaningless. Here's the thing that I want to tell you. I've been to Tallahassee multiple times, cover Florida games and also cover FSU games. It's going to be different over there, 50,000 seat stadium because they got the tarp on where they're doing the construction. And the bottom line is, though, better teams have gone over there and lost. The national championship team lost over there. The 94 team, which was loaded with first-round picks and all kinds of great players, lost or a little tied over there. That was almost worse than a loss. Spurrier never won over there. It's hard to win over there when they're good. They're not good. But you have to take care of business. You have to do your job. You have to take care of what you are assigned to do. Don't get out of your lanes. Don't commit dumb penalties. Just don't let the emotions get the best of you. Don't, Tony George, hit somebody before the game even starts and get thrown out. That was the ultimate. That was 98. You talk about another game that Florida should never have lost with the late Rooster, Marcus Outson at quarterback. And Florida loses that game. And one reason is Tony George and a guy in jeans get into a little pushing match before the game, and the referees see it. It had been started by Doug Johnson throwing the ball and hitting Bobby. That was a caustic game, to say the least. But I will say this: really good Florida teams have gone over there and lost, but usually it's because the other team was pretty good. Now I will say this: some good teams from FSU, some bad teams from FSU have come in here and won. They won that game in 2004. I'll still never get over. Anyway, all that said, look, guys. Better teams have gone over there and lost. You go over there and you play the same way you've been playing. You play with the same fire. Just because you're not at home doesn't mean you have to say, oh, well, now we're on the road. You're not a bad road team. You've shown that this year, especially against teams that aren't great. Mississippi State. Go out there and just win the game. Go out there and win the game. And I'll give you some incentive. Your swag will increase mightily. If you win this game, because the swag you're going to get for going to the 6-6 bowl and the swag for the 7-5 bowl are different animals. Just tell me, that'll get you going. Okay, you'll probably get a lot of electronics if you go to the other bowl. Okay, and of course, in the old days, I would really care that they were going if they were going to go into Music City or Liberty Bowl or somewhere really nice, like they went to Vegas a couple of years ago. But now, since I don't go anywhere with the team, I just want them to go to the best bowl possible. All right, let's get to number 3, which was the big reveal last night again, and a lot of storylines coming out. But I will say this, guys, and the big storyline is there's a path where the Big 12 is going to get completely shut out, and they're going to lose their minds, and it's going to be fascinating down the stretch. Look, it's so much easier to watch when I know Florida's not going to be in it, but if you were worried about Florida, like if you're an Alabama fan right now, I don't know if you want to get in the playoffs because you're going to lose one of those games because you find ways to lose multiple games. It's just the way it is this year. But anyway, the SEC has 8 teams ranked in the top 25 and only 3 getting in. So a lot is going to happen, guys. A lot is going to happen. over the next few days, and especially this weekend. There are so many big games, so many games that could change. You could be stunned by a result. And please don't tell me, oh, it's going to all calm down this weekend now that we're getting to the final weekend. No, last week was the penultimate weekend for college football regular season, and Oklahoma beat Alabama and beat the crap out of them. And Oklahoma's been stinky all year. Florida beat down Ole Miss. Florida was a better team out there. Auburn, with its 2 conference wins, beats A&M. So anything can happen, and I can't wait for it all to take place. And then we'll know a lot more. I think we'll have almost know for sure pretty much who's going to be in within a couple of spots. Now, for example, if A&M beats Texas and then they're playing Georgia, now you don't know if Georgia wins, then A&M's out. Does Texas still get in? It's going to be interesting. I don't know the criteria they're using. Every week it seems to change, and every week everybody gets mad, and I always tell them, wait till it's over and then get mad, because it's not going to do any good to get mad now. If you're unhappy right now, how is that helping you? It's going to change again in a week. Anyway, let's get to number 4 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is this discussion I heard. In fact, Jimbo Fisher was the guy bringing it up on Sirius Radio, and I was thinking about this a lot, about how much brand helps you, and it does. And his point was, if you don't think these guys are looking at what is going to draw the best ratings, you're out of your mind. And I do think that is a consideration. I think brand does help, and that's going to help Alabama, and it's not going to help Indiana if it comes down to that. But I can't see an Indiana 1-loss team not getting in over a 3-loss Alabama team. But brand is going to matter. Brand and the other thing, though, and we saw it again, the Georgia-Tennessee rematch is what they've got right now. I got to think, because the NCAA committee really works hard on making sure there aren't any rematches. I think it's till the 3rd game that they have to keep conferences from playing each other. I think I may be right, I may be wrong on that. But they do. You're not going to see any in the first round. But again, that's 68. This is 12. You can avoid it. It's really not hard to go, oh, that one late data point came in, and so we moved Georgia to 10. And so they're not going to play Tennessee. Please do not have a Georgia-Tennessee rematch. That's not fun. I don't want to watch that. I mean, I'm sure the game would be great and watch it, but no, I want to watch and see how other conferences do against other conferences instead of one conference playing each other and getting eliminated right away. I know you guys are going to think this through and do the right thing, right? I don't believe that for a second. All right, let's get to number 5 on our Gainesville Quarterback Club starting 5, and that is our Florida basketball, which is playing today in just a little while. And look, you guys are probably listening to this after the game's over. You'll know what happened. It's a 2:30 game against Wake Forest. This is where the season kind of cranks up. Thursday, they will play the winner of the or the loser, depends on how they do, Minnesota-Wichita State game. That's on ESPN as well. So they've got a lot of games coming up. That'll be on Friday. No, Florida plays on Thursday. I'm sorry. I made a mistake there. They play tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. It's the women that are playing right now. No, it's not. It's the volleyball that is playing right now. I knew I would figure it out eventually. All right, Florida basketball, Thanksgiving Day, 2:30. You got to have some snacks out. You don't want to eat your meal yet. You eat your meal around 4:00. Have some snacks out. Watch the game. Enjoy it. Florida now 16th in one poll, 18th in the other. I think people think a lot of this Florida team nationally. They're waiting to see what they do when they start playing a lot of Power 5 teams. Certainly the win over FSU didn't hurt, and FSU's played pretty well since then. The win over USF is going to be a quality win in the end, I think. So we'll see how it goes with Florida basketball. Again, abbreviated show today, so no guests, but we will have Robbie Andreu on for yes, no way, or maybe. And we're only abbreviating it because we didn't want to bother anybody the day before Christmas to get him on as a guest. Robbie, we can bother. We're not going to bother anybody else. And we want to make sure that we take care of our sponsors and give you all the information we got and we can give you on Florida and FSU and all the other stuff that's going on. By the way, Florida, a 15-point favorite. Seems a little high for a rivalry game, but anyway. All right, let's move along and take a break. And when we come back, Robbie will join us for Yes, No, Way, or Maybe. Look forward to it here on another Duly Noted. Gator fans, football season is here. What's better than seeing the Gators back on the field? Easy. Seeing amazing speakers and fellow Gator fans weekly at the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Held every Tuesday night of a home game at the Best Western Gateway Grand. Enjoy happy hour, great food, valuable insights from yours truly and Andy Staples, plus notable speakers throughout the season. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org or visit thequarterbackclub.org. Or better yet, just give me a call and I'll get you to the right people.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant. And you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Spite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Okay, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast, and it is a little bit of a truncated show today because we're of Thanksgiving, but we did manage to go up into the woods and find Sasquatch, also known as Robbie Andreu, to play Yes, No, Where, or Maybe. What's up, Robbie? You enjoying your time away from Gainesville, Florida?
Yeah, Pat, I wrestled the bear this morning and then took the dog for a walk, so everything's been good. Kidding, of course. We're having a good time up here.
Are you eating any roadkill yet, or have you gotten to that point?
No, not to that point, no. But we're having a good time. It's beautiful up here.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot more fun when you're sitting up there and you can think about these back-to-back wins that Florida's put together.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. But typical me, Pat, like by Monday, I'm starting to worry about, looking. Don't take FSU lightly, because that would wreck what you've done here in the last few weeks. So that's been on my mind a little bit.
I made my point in the first part of this broadcast, Robbie. Better teams have gone to Tallahassee and lost.
Oh, absolutely.
Better
no
teams.
Question.
So, yeah. I mean, you got to get it done. I wanted to ask you this because this is going to come up. I don't know. I think somewhere later in the show, but and maybe it won't. Somebody sent me a picture of 1981 Florida when Florida beat FSU 35-3, and they took the goalpost down, and they had to tear gas the fans, and I'm like, well, I wasn't there for that, so I don't know. And they said it was the first courts or field storming since '61. I'm like, well, then Spurrier was way off.
Yeah. But did they storm the field in '81? I mean, I covered that game. I don't remember that at all.
There's a picture of it, and with the goalposts are down,
Wow.
And people are all over the field, and yeah. So I mean, two different people have sent me pictures from the Alligator of the front page, and the goalposts are down, and people are over the field, and the story says they had to disperse them with tear gas, and it says in the cut line it was the first time they stormed the field since '61. No, I wasn't at that one either.
Wow. But I covered that '81 game. I don't remember that, and I remember they beat USC and nobody stormed the field. I remember Charlie Pell did a victory lap around the field, but nobody stormed it then. So, well, our memories are fading.
There is no doubt that our memories are fading. But I think we would have remembered that. I mean, I can remember, I remembered the score of the Houston game. Carlos Alvarez was speaking last night.
Yeah.
And He looked over, he goes, "What was the score?" And I go 49 or 59-34.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
I remember those kind of things,
Yeah.
but wife's birthdays and stuff like that are
Yeah.
also good at. All
Getting
right,
old, Pat.
it is time. We're bringing Robbie from the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line. And what city are you in?
Blue Ridge, Georgia, Pat.
Blue Ridge, Georgia, man. I bet it's
Well,
nice.
I've worn my Gator windbreaker, and I've gotten a bunch of Go Gators from people up here. So
Is
it's
it
cool.
is it chilly up there?
Yeah, it's been in the low 30s at night,
Ooh.
like 50 in
Woof.
the day. It's been beautiful. Woof.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice here, actually. It's been pretty cool, but
Yeah.
not cold.
Good
All right,
Thanksgiving weather.
that's right. Let's play Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Robbie Andreu, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Street dining done the right way. If you go there and say you listen to this, you can get free fries with your order. Maybe you want a cheesesteak and some fries for Thanksgiving dinner. All right, let's get started. Robbie, all right, the SEC is going to get 4 teams still into the college football playoff.
I'm going to say yes, Pat, because, I mean, they're going to be 2 lost teams or whatever, but you look at the strength of schedule from playing each other, that's going to be the difference between them and like the Big Ten and other conferences. I mean, this league is so good and so competitive that, a 3-loss team maybe could get in, when you look at strength of schedule.
Don't forget, if Texas A&M wins this week and then beats Georgia, which I don't think those 2 things will happen, but if then they're in.
Yeah.
Them. But the big right now, there's only 3 teams in. I'm convinced that when it's all comes together, they're going to get 4 teams in.
Yeah, I think they are too, Pat. And it's all going to go to strength of schedule and who you beat and things like that. I mean, quality wins is going to be a big issue for it.
You hope so, but you never know what those guys are thinking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're trying to order chicken wings,
Yeah, really.
All right, number 2 on Yes, No, Where, Maybe with Robbie Andreu. Florida goes to the Music City Bowl.
I would say maybe, Pat. That'd be a great bowl trip for them. But, the bottom line is they need to win this game and, close this thing out because they've really got momentum going now. People in the national media are talking about Lagway and how people want to play with them, and this is going to be a team that could contend. But a lot of that goes away if you don't close it out with a win over FSU and then get to the bowl game and play well and win there. So, but that would be a great place for them to go. It would be fun for everybody.
You're absolutely right, though, Robbie, because I was talking big about momentum last week. That you couldn't, even if you lost to Ole Miss, at least you had to be competitive in the game and keep the momentum going in the right direction. Winning was even better than that.
Well, yeah.
Really keeping it going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do. You got to keep that buzz going.
Yeah, if you lose to 2-9 FSU, poof, the momentum's gone.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
You got to win the game.
Yeah.
So the pressure's on Florida now.
Pressure's on us.
Yeah, it was
The
absolutely.
ones are going to be stressing it out.
Yeah,
Because we have special feelings about FSU. Remember when I put that big plywood thing up on my roof?
I do, Pat. That was a beautiful thing.
FSU. All right, and finally, number 3, Robbie, we just saw Mac Brown get fired in the ACC, but there will be no SEC coaching changes this year.
I'm going to say yes, Pat. I mean, the guys that were in trouble seem to have wiggled off the hot seat a little bit. You look at Arkansas; they've done enough to keep his job, I think, and no question Napier's not going anywhere. So yeah, I think they're going to be
Beamer
fine.
was the other guy on the hot seat going into the year. Now he could be in the playoffs. Who knows?
Well, yeah, absolutely, and
they got a chance.
Yeah, so I think everybody's safe and secure right now, Pat, unless something weird happened. But I don't see that happening. So.
Well, it would be somebody like somebody would hire, like North Carolina could hire Clark Lee. Something like that happened.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be somebody getting fired. So yeah.
They got Dan Mullen on their watch list. Do you know that?
They did. Does he really want to coach anymore? Or,
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I know he doesn't want to recruit.
Yeah. I'll give him credit though. He does a good job as a color commentator.
Yeah.
Adazio
is not bad. Although Adazio is constantly making the same point over and over again.
Yeah.
Like he was making the point about how the linemen were down on the ground too long and they were taking too long to call a play. He must have made that point 15 times during the game.
Yeah, and at times it seems like he's trying too hard. Like it's not like a natural thing for him. But it's a tough job if you've never done it, I'm sure.
Yeah. With all the stuff we have going on this week, Gator basketball, Gator football, all the great football games all week, NFL games, This is the most wonderful time of the year to me.
It is, Pat.
Even better than bowl season.
Yeah, this is a great week, no question about it.
All right, Robbie, appreciate you, man. We'll let you go.
Pat, I'll see you again soon.
Okay, buddy. See ya.
Okay, have a good one.
Okay, always great to talk to Robbie. We appreciate him, especially taking time away from his vacation, although I think he wanted to talk to other human beings. Hey, we appreciate him. We'll be back now. We'll do all of our great stuff here. We're going to have a pull on the Leonardos at Millhopper Quick Picks. Get your numbers ready, Zach, because I'm going to ask you for a number. And we will do all that stuff and more when we come back on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Dooley Dome Gator Studios.
And now for a special announcement from Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier's Gridiron gift cards are on sale for 20% off between November 26th and December the 2nd. You can go to spurriers.com and order a digital card or stop by our restaurant in Celebration Point and pick up some today for the Gators and the people that love good food in your life. Use the code GC20 and get 20% off. That's right, 20% off gift cards with the code GC20.
Get yours today at spurriers.com.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. All right, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Let's get to our fun stuff that we love to do in the third segment every week, and we'll start off with our Hesser and Kipke three things. Of course, Hesser and Kipke is a Gainesville firm here for your needs in family law or workers' compensation. Call or text Ken and Jennifer 24/7 at 352-339-9920. Hesser and Kipke, nearly 50 years of combined legal experience and about to celebrate their 5th anniversary in January. Hesser and Kipke, we appreciate them for being a part of this show. Three things. Number one, I don't know many of you saw this, watched a lot of basketball this week. I watched a lot last night, but the one thing that stood out was UConn losing 2 games in a row, and in both cases, Dan Hurley, their coach, losing his mind over the officiating. You won back-to-back national championships. Now, and he is saying you win back-to-back national championships, you should get better officiating. I'm like, no, you shouldn't. Why should you? He's got a mental problem. There's something not quite. All the screws aren't tamped down with him, man. He just loses. Now, he was that way last year, but he's almost like he's worse this year. But they had 2 straight losses in the tournament they're playing. I think it's in Memphis. I'm not even 100% sure. There's tournaments everywhere. You turn on a TV and you go, I don't know where they are. There's 8 people there. It looks like a ballroom. You don't know what's going on. But Dan, try to enjoy life a little more, okay? Now, I assume they have fines because he called the officiating the S word and the SH word. He ends with a Y. And he called it that. And I don't think you can do that. I know you can't do that in the SEC. I mean, they're fining you and sending the money to the other school. No, you wouldn't send it to the other school for that. Anyway, we'll see what happens there with him. All right, number 2, I did want to talk about Mack Brown getting fired because Mack Brown is just a good dude, man. He is like the favorite coach of all the ESPN guys because he worked with ESPN for a long time, and they love him. They love talking to him. He'll give them anything. He'll give them access to everything, and that's great. I like Mack a lot. He's certainly a good coach, but I think they're just feeling like, hey, look, we're treading water with what we got right now. We want to go to another level. Doesn't mean you can get to another level. I hear names like Dan Mullen coming up, and maybe some other people are going to come up. They're going to try to get somebody that's not as old, somebody that's younger, but I thought he was doing a pretty good job. His problem is he couldn't figure out defense. He was an anti-Muschamp, which is ironic since they were on the same staff together, and Muschamp was the coach in waiting at Texas. But Muschamp couldn't get offense. For some reason, when he got to North Carolina, all the defense that he knew, Mac Brown knew, he went out the window. Now, he hired Gene Chizik, and Gene Chizik's a good coach, good defensive coordinator. They couldn't stop anybody. And it's the same way every year for some reason. So maybe they just want to change up there. Anyway, hate to see that he got fired, but there was a lot of talk that there may not be anybody in the Power Four getting fired. Well, there's one down, and we'll see who else survives. We talked to Robbie about that a minute ago, and I mean, the only changes I can see would be if somebody bolted for another job, but I don't. And Clark Lee is probably a hot prospect. I don't think people are attracted to him if you're at North Carolina, or if Sam Pittman gets let go. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. The coaching carousel may not be as exciting as it normally is. But there is a lot of money out there. I think because the ADs still aren't sure about how that money is going to be dispersed, how they're supposed to be able to use it. I think that's why you may not see a lot of coaching fires. They're going to kind of wait and see how this all works out. All right, and finally on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, the Dodgers got richer because they're the richest, and they keep getting richer, and I can't stand it. But they signed Blake Snell, who was with the Giants last year, really good Cy Young. I think he won 2 Cy Youngs. Signed a $80 trillion contract. So, oh goody, the Dodgers got better. That makes me so happy. Well, I was rooting for him in the World Series, though, for obvious reasons. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let us move to our this, that, and the other. It is brought to you by Ironwood Golf Course, by Ballyhoo Grill, and, of course, by Darshak Insurance. We appreciate all of them for being sponsors of our show and for doing this. So, all right, number one, the this on this is I told myself when Florida was winning all these regular season basketball games, Pat, don't look for bracketologies. Don't look for net rankings. Stay away from it. It doesn't matter. You know that. And I used to have this bad habit of going on there in December and calling Jeremy and going, "You guys are 83rd. You're not going to get in the tournament." He goes, "Calm down. It's going to all work out." And I would, yeah, it would all work out. So that was the this. The that was that, I'm watching the Gators. They look good. I'm watching the SEC. It looks really good. I watched Alabama the other night. Tennessee. My boy, this is – I want – and the other is I had to find something. Guess what? There's no net rankings yet. At least I couldn't find them. However, I will say this. I did find an ESPN bracketology. For now, I mean, again, we're only 5-6 games into the season. But Florida's a 5 seed in Denver. Woohoo! Let's go to Denver. I will go to Denver if they're a 5 seed in Denver. I can tell you that. Now, if they're a 5, they would play the 4. That may be tough. I still would go. I love Denver. Maybe we can see Dion when we're out there. So anyway, that is our this, that, and the other, brought to you by Ironwood, by Ballyhoo, and by Darshak Insurance. And I got to quit. I know I don't want to do that until after the first year. Again, I'm gonna put that. Can you put a restrictor plate on your computer where you can't look at net rankings and bracketologies? Anyway, all right, let's get to our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the Week. We appreciate Adams. They are the best ribs. It's a place to go for ribs. Adams Rib Co. Appreciate them so much. Our Gator of the Week is Alexander Painter. He is from England, and it do swing like a pendulum does, I've been told. But he was the SEC co-swimmer, freshman co-swimmer of the week. And he was on a bunch of relay teams that really good swimmer. And just another guy that they continue to bring in athletes from all over the world to be really good at swimming and running and everything. And Florida is a destination spot. It's a beautiful campus. Bring people on this campus, man, they want to be part of it. They do. So, however, NIL, blah, blah, blah. We know how well that works. All right. So Alexander Painter, I wonder if they call him Alex. Alex Painter is what we're going to call him. Now, it said Alexander, and so I'll stick with Alexander. All right. It is time for us, and we're going to give you a new qualifier, but that's going to be for the next one. But we are going to pull a winner here for the Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. You will get a $25 gift certificate at Leonardo's, and I think I have another $25 left for No Paul. If not, I'll put something else in the package to send to our winner. I've got all of our numbers on the back of my notebook right here, and we had a lot of people get in, and a lot of people got one right. I don't think anybody got both right last week, but a lot of people got one right last week. A lot of people got the game last night correct. So we have a lot of qualifiers. So we have to go from 10 to 59 are the numbers, and you can pick one, just any one, Zachary, and we will that will be our winner.
10 to 59. Well, let's go 53.
All right, that is it's Keith Collier. Keith Collier's won before. That's good. Good for
There
Keith.
we go.
Yeah, so Keith Collier is our winner, and we will we'll mail him something. I'm pretty sure I have his address, but go ahead and send it to me anyway, Keith. He gets in every week too. And there's about 40 guys who get in every week to this contest. And then the other people come in, they find out about it, and they get fun about it. I know Anna won last week, so she was able to get in. But if you're going to start to qualify for the next one, which will come right around Christmas, right before Christmas. Because we're actually, I'm not going to say that out loud. I don't want what happened to me, what happens to the Kelseys and everything. But anyway, we're going to do it right before Christmas. We'll have another pull for Leonardo's, and we'll throw a really nice gift in there too for somebody. And here are the two games you got to pick this week. You got to get one right, so it's not a parlay. South Carolina getting 2.5 at Clemson. That's a tough pick, man. That is tough. Florida giving 15 at Florida State. Now, that's a lot of points. It could snowball in Florida's direction, but if FSU, that's the thing. You've got to get on top of them early and make them quit. They're ready to quit. They are. You know that. If you get on top of them early. But if you don't, they're also ready to pull the big upset and save their season and win their Super Bowl. And I'm sure that's the way they're calling it. This is our chance for redemption. So you're going to have to play really well. Doesn't mean that they're good. You still have to play really well. You need to get on top of them, blow them out, get it over with. Go stomp on them. And we'll storm that field. Okay, so those are the two games you got to pick. And again, Keith Collier will get your stuff to you probably next week with all the holidays going on and everything. Appreciate all the people who get in, and we'll continue to have this contest going forward. All right, let's get to our Florida Surf Club upset alert. We appreciate the Florida Surf Club for being a sponsor, and we have them for our Cool Dude on Monday, and then our upset alert on Thursday. Since it's Wednesday, we're still doing the Cool Dude. And the upset alert. I get confused sometimes. I'm putting LSU on upset alert. They are 6-point favorites. They're at home. They're playing Oklahoma. What happened last week with Oklahoma? Beat Alabama. Now, the fact that LSU is only a 6-point favorite says a lot, because that's a 4-point home swing, I think, there. I think most are 3, some are 4, some are 5. Florida's like a 5. LSU may be a 5 too. But that's not much. And Oklahoma's win, so that's going to be, I think that's a good choice for upset alert. I think Oklahoma might go in there and do it again. My gut is they won't. My gut is they'll go in there and they'll still be thinking about the Alabama game, and they won't play very well. That's my gut. And it's a big gut. All right, let us move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week. And we appreciate the Gallo Car Wash. In fact, my daughter personally detailed my car, but she took it to Gallo to do the washing because she knows that's the best place to go. And the Sponge of the Week is are SEC underdogs. What do you say? What are you talking about, Pat? They soak up everything. They soak up misery for other teams. SEC underdogs this year against double-digit spreads are 23-4. So if you see it now, again, Florida could still win, but they're a double-digit spread. My gut now tells me you should bet on FSU, but not to win the game, but to cover, because it's 23-4. They're covering. 36% of the underdogs have won in the SEC in SEC only games. 36% is a high number. It's a crazy year, man. I love it. It is great. And that's how we get to a Gallo sponge. It's just soaking it up. We're going to soak it all up. And SEC underdogs are soaking up the riches of their perils. That's not the right word. Riches of their conquest. That's what perils. Where'd you come up with perils? Okay. All right. Let us get to our Hugh, Cain, Mayhem moment, sponsored by Allstate.
The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today.
Well, this was it. You probably have heard about this. This is a guy trying to steal a helmet from the sideline right here of the Cal sideline. And here comes the trainer. And look at these moves, man. This guy, and boom, great tackle. And then he got a film study. They brought him in for film study to show his tackle. And he got the helmet back. But you got to like the effort that he put out. I want to talk to some of Florida's trainers to see if they would do the same thing. I bet they would. They don't want people stealing helmets. Boy, that guy went down hard. That was definitely a Mayhem moment. At first, I really was trying to find one. I had some, I could make this one. Oh, and then I saw that one. Oh, that's perfect for the Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment. Appreciate Hugh Cain for a lot of things, especially for being a great Gator. All right, it is time for our swamp games of the weekend. Now, I wrote it down on 2 sheets. There's so many games, so I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can. I do want to mention the women do also play in Tampa, but there's no TV. They play Thursday, Friday as well. The TV for Florida is all ESPN on the men's side. They play Thursday and Friday as well. Volleyball is playing right now. It's they're playing the 21-5 volleyball team playing at South Carolina. It's on the plus. Well, it's not right now. It's at 2:00. If you're watching it at 2, it's right now. Then they play at Georgia on Saturday, 1:00. It is also on the plus. And those are big matches for Florida volleyball. The Sunday selection show will be on, I think, ESPNU, and that's when you'll find out if Florida's going to host, or if they're not, where they're going. I think they will host if they can win these last 2. Okay, so let's get to the football. I had to get a bunch of football games up. All right, college football. Let's go with this. 7:30 ESPN. Memphis at Tulane. That is a good game Thursday. Tulane is threatening to mess up everything especially for the Big 12. So I'm going to watch that game. Friday, Mississippi State at Ole Miss, 3:30 ABC. Georgia Tech at Georgia, 7:30 ABC. I think Georgia Tech's going to go down bad. I just think Georgia's going to rough them up because it's all right in front of them now. They're in the playoff and they're in the SEC championship game. And they got everything they want, even though they've struggled at times this year. Saturday, some great games. The noon thing is going to be fun. Tennessee at Vandy, noon ABC. South Carolina at Clemson, noon ESPN. Louisville at Kentucky, noon SEC channel. I got my 3 TVs. I got my Orange Crush. I'm ready to roll, man. There are 3 NFL games on Thursday. The best one is Miami at Green Bay. That's the 8:00 on NBC. Sunday, probably the best game is Philly at Baltimore, 4:25 on CBS. That's the national game of the week. And then San Francisco is at the Bills, 8:20 on NBC. It's supposed to snow like crazy there, which means I'm in. All in on snow games. I did want to give you another couple of college games. Notre Dame at USC, Saturday, 3:30 on CBS. Rooting hard for USC in that game for the first time ever. Miami at Syracuse, 3:30 ESPN. I'm rooting for Syracuse in that game. Texas A&M is 7:30 on ABC. Well, that's going to be a good one. And K-State at Iowa State, 7:30 on Fox. You can ignore that game. I know it has ramifications, but we got so much going on. It's going to be great this weekend. It's everybody. Do two things for me. Have a good time. Stay safe, of course, but have a good time. Enjoy your family and enjoy the benefits that you have of living in this country. We have a great country. It could be better. We're going to work on it. But I just want everybody to have a great Thanksgiving, especially Zach, who does so much great work for me. Really makes me look good, which is hard to do. And Zach's done an incredible job. And look, everybody out there, all of our listeners, all of our sponsors, you don't know how much I appreciate you. You have meant so much to me, and it is truly a time for Thanksgiving to me. I mean, we're at 402 shows today. I can't believe we've gotten that far, and it's really meant a lot. Monday, Coach Spurrier will be back in here. On Thursday, Barrett Salee from Smothered and Covered and Sirius Radio will be on to talk some college football, and then we'll just keep it going. Keep this. This is the train that doesn't derail, right? Even COVID couldn't derail it. Woo-hoo! All right. All right, we'll be back with more on Monday. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.